There we go. Sweet. Take it away.
All right. Well, damn, there's really actually nothing to say. Like, this is literally everything. Like, everything. Nothing is actually happening. It's so crazy. It's free. It's wild. It's chaotic. It's unimaginable, unbelievable. It can't be thought of, can't be conceived. It's literally everything that's happening. It's every movement, every word. No one's behind these words. Words are just coming out. It's not that there's a nobody and then there's a somebody. There's just nobody. And nobody knows that there's a nobody. There's not even such thing as a nobody or a no me. Those are just concepts. Those are just words. But it's pointing to something. It's, yeah. Just simple. It's everything that's happening. Sound, light, forms, colors. It's beautiful. And it can appear as anything. Anything. Suffering, joy, happiness. It's not a feeling. It's not a thing. I mean, that's what seems to be coming out. I don't know, Ede, do you want to add?
Well, yeah, this is a suggestion that there is nothing separate. So it's everything and it's unknowable. You can't know what this is because there is just no separation. It's everything. And this doesn't have any meaning. That me, the person who is duality, apparently, it sees everything in duality. So it's looking for the meaning. This have to have some kind of meaning. Like my mom asked today from my husband, why Ede is doing this non-duality posts? What is the meaning of that? What she's trying to tell? There have to be some kind of meaning. But Ede posts, Sabi posts, or my mom's posts, there is no difference. Seemingly there is difference, but they are all equal posts. No post is more important. Of course, when there is this sense of I am the separateness, then it sees this duality and it have to have some kind of meaning. But yeah, this meeting doesn't have any meaning, any value, any point, because there is no one for who it can have meaning or point. It is literally everything. And what is just seems to happening right now, apparently. People sitting in the Zoom, watching, speaking, listening, background, noise, whatever. It's everything, and it's you can't imagine this, because then when it's imagined, it's not this, then it's something. But this is pointing that this is nothing and everything simultaneously. Kelsey, Nikki, you want to take over?
Sure. All right. So thank you. You know, and the message is just so simple. It's too simple. And we can try our best to talk about it, but we'll never really get there, ever. And so with that, If you have any questions, feel free to post them in the chat or just start talking. Honestly, it's pretty open discussion here. And then we got 3 speakers here that you can ask questions to, Zabi, me, and Eddie. But also, if you would like to ask a question to anybody here, there's no one here. And so you're just talking to yourself anyways. Not even that. All right. Yeah, that's it. Feel free to.
I have a question to actually any one of you. I hear the word pointing or pointing to something, but I want to ask all of you that have spoken, how obvious is it to you, the obviousness of it, of the non-separation? Because when I hear the word pointing, it's like, it's almost, my mind starts to think, hey, it's pointing to something, but is it really pointing to something, or is it just this or here? Or
Yeah, pointing's not great to say, honestly. You're right. It's just this, because pointing makes it seem like it's pointing to something, but it's so obvious. It seems to be covered up by that me experience, by a contracted energy, seemingly, but that's also it. That was always it. And when that seemingly fades, or you can say drops away, it's just so obvious that it's never been anything else. It's, Eddie, you have something?
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's using word pointing. Yeah, it's you can listen it like it's pointing to something, but no, even the pointing is this. Every word is this, and it's obvious, but for no one, it can't be described. It can't be experienced when there is no one and no one separate. So there is just obviousness or realization, but no one ever realized anything. When one claiming that it, what was the word? Realized it, got enlightened, then it's a dream, still dreaming, because there is no one who can get that, so to speak, or to understand what this is.
right. So I guess a question too, and I sometimes will think about it. How in your life as a character, because you have families or kids or whatever you're doing, what impact does it seem to have in the way that you, in quotations, live your life just with your kids, family, others? What's the impact? And those around you who then say, hey, have you changed, or, things like that.
I mean, the whole sense of having a life is just not there. Like in the story, it can, from what I remember, it seemed like there was a person moving through linear time, going through experiences that just collapsed completely. Like there's no sense at all of moving through time, like at all. Like, so there's no sense of having a life, but things still, nothing changed. Like going to work still happens. Eating dinner with my family, everything's the same. It's just no sense of doership with it. It's just immediacy. Everything's just immediate, which was always the case. Yeah, I mean, you can say, I guess there's like a relaxation, but that's even saying too much, because like nobody's really, it's not like I am relaxed. That whole sense is just not there. And it's just immediacy, like of what's happening, like words happening. That's what's happening. Like planning can still happen, but that will be what's happening. It's literally only what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What happens? Let's say you're with your family or having dinner, or you get angry at your kids or whomever. So, is there like a qualitative difference in the level of anger or the stickiness of anger?
Yeah, there's just the stickiness is gone and the anger carrying along. Like before, I can remember, I guess it would just continue with like, oh, why was I angry? Oh, why did that happen? This and that. It'll just now it's just anger is anger, and it's more full on. It's more felt. It's more just free to be, and then it's gone. It's just completely. It's just gone. It's like it disappears. There's nothing holding on to it as a story. The story there's no context to this. Like the sense of a me had like a context. It felt like this is going somewhere. I was in my room. I took a shower. I came here. I'm in my car. Like everything had a context. That just all like disappeared.
Right.
Because there is no context. That's the context is the dream.
Yeah.
Just seemingly. Sorry, go ahead.
I have one more question, and because I listen to Emerson a lot, I've been on for a long time, and I teach a lot of college students, and I actually show them snippets of the Friday afternoon. I'll show snippets to my students, and these are all 8-24 on the average. So one of the questions they always ask, and it's the one everybody hears, is, well, how did they do it, or how did it happen? And of course, I realize, and I could say there's no causality and there's no process or procedure. But if I was going to show this let's say I took a snippet of this and showed it to students, and of course they're going to ask the question. So would anybody want to, if you were going to give advice to college students who had really no background but are intrigued by it, what would you all like? Do you have any advice, quote unquote advice for? Of course, there's no them, but I would say that, but they're going to grasp for it. How do I do it? How do I do it?
Hey, Nikki, you're on mute, by the way. I don't know if you're talking. Maybe not. Nikki's here too. She can answer questions.
Yeah.
Well, I just said out loud that it's already the case. So there wouldn't be anything to grasp or find. That's why this is a pointless meeting in a way. Absolutely pointless. Because that's the joke. Because there's absolutely nothing to understand or get or to grasp or to move toward. It's already the case. Yeah. That's what I would say to somebody who is interested in looking for something.
It's the most dissatisfying message. It's not even a message.
I'm so curious what the college students, how their responses just to this message. Is there anyone who seems like they're interested, quote unquote?
I would say there is a lot of interest. And I know people, sometimes people will say, well, it's usually people who are older or, they're thinking of it not, but a lot of them are very interested. And I think that when I've tried different, I'll call it snippets of things, they will, like what Nikki said, they'll say, oh, I understand intellectually. Okay, it's all here. It's already done, complete, perfect as it is. They'll say that, but that's their conceptual understanding. But then the question is, they would say to Nikki, but Nikki, obviously it's not just conceptual, it's experiential. And so the question always turns out to be, how do you transition from the conceptual framework to that's the experiencing of it? And that's the question that will always come up.
You don't.
Yeah, it's impossible.
You don't transition from that ever. God damn, that's the biggest thing. It's like, what? We can do that with everything else. Why not?
Because the energy of looking or wanting is only an appearance that's happening spontaneously on its own.
Mhm.
So if there were the energy of looking that stopped appearing, that would just be what's happening. There's only what's happening. So there wouldn't ever be anything that could lead to a falling away.
Yeah.
That's why it's absolutely hopeless. Unfortunately. But
But if they're
fortunately, because
curious.
that's the thing, because then that would be it. Just the sense of longing would be it. But nobody just wants the sense of longing. They want what happens after the longing stops.
Yes. Yeah.
But the sense of longing is it.
Mm-hmm.
There's just nobody in it.
Hmm.
Just longing, just the innocence of longing, like a child who wants a cookie.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I see other people have their hands raised.
Thanks, Harvey.
You're
Good
very welcome.
question. All right. I think next up is Vipula.
Yeah, just a short question. Maybe all of you can respond. I often hear this word dream. I understand, the language probably is sufficient to probably explain what you want to explain, but the dream probably is the closest that you can cite to communicate this description.
Yeah, I like dream. Yeah.
Yeah, dream or illusion or story, it doesn't have any solidity. But it feels real, like in the nighttime when you're sleeping, it feels real that it's happening with you. And then you are like frozen or you are jumping out from the bed because you are thinking that you are dying. It feels so real. And then it's, whew, it was just a dream. This doesn't have any solidity. As a dream, illusion, duality doesn't exist.
Probably the biggest part of the illusion may be the sense of continuity, isn't it? If you go and look at yourself before a mirror, okay, it's not the same person whom you used to see years ago. That kind of a continuity, which makes this whole thing, quite real. Okay, it's me, and I'm the one who is continuing in this timeline. So my last question is, because the others are waiting, is that, if you use this example, the dream, to illustrate the description of what you're, then whatever you are saying is not true, isn't it?
Nothing's true.
Ta-da!
Nothing
whatever
wrong,
you say.
nothing right. Who
Yeah,
knows?
Exactly.
Fucking
exactly.
Yeah.
You Nikki
I mean-
my ta-da!
No. Let me
From last
ask the
week.
last thing now.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
can't you take that radical, even to say I'm looking through my eyes, or I'm hearing from my ears, or I'm, feeling with my body. Even to say that, it's questionable, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. The basics, like the basic assumptions, all of a sudden become questions.
So when the me in a story collapsed, it seemed that it wasn't never real. But before it was like in a story that, oh, it happened with me. Oh, poor me, and why it happened with me, and the feeling guilt and whatever, and then carrying these stories that it feels real. And when this collapsed, then everything is collapsing. There is, yeah.
There is no me. It's just not happening. Like it's already not happening.
Yeah, basically you go, completely out of questions, isn't it?
Who have
Yeah.
questions? Questioner time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was like,
Nothing to seek, nothing to get, nothing to gain. no one special. It's simply this, so ordinary, plain, boring, you can say in a story. It's everything. But there it is, nothing wrong with anything, any thought, any story, any reaction, everything is it. Mind, the me, will have illusion or this imagination what this should be, but this is never what the me is imagining, because me is seeing everything what he is imagining. He can't imagine this without me, so it is everywhere me. So the me is waiting something to happen, something to change, or get some proof, or get more knowledge about this, to realize that, oh, this, that they are talking about, okay, now I know. But there is no experiencer anymore when this collapses. So no one got anything. It is already this, even the question arising and seeking energy, this feeling of being separate.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for your
Appreciate very
question.
much.
Yeah. I think next was Sri.
Thanks, Casey. So probably this is a question to Zabi because he mentioned context. I want to understand what he meant by no context, because without a context, how can even emotions arise? You know, things have to be put in a context for an emotion to arise, right? So that's the question.
I mean, emotions can just arise. It doesn't need a context for it to arise. It just all arises on its own.
Right, Zabi. So when you say no context, so can you say more? Like, what do you mean by context here? For me, context, right, is more like referring to a past story and
Yes.
putting whatever is happening in relation to something, right?
Yeah.
So though without that, the emotions can arise. Okay.
Yeah. It could. It just doesn't need a context. Like, there is no context. The context is the dream. Like, this does not need any context. Does not require a context at all. It's simple. It's simple.
Okay. And even emotions, anything arise this without a context. So
Yes.
just as this.
Exactly.
Okay. The next question, probably Zabi follow up or others, is, you know, if there is only like say singularity or one thing, we can say this, you know, then how does it, I guess, what does it mean to have a relation, right? I mean, you know, in a parent this, you know, there are people related to each other. How is that seen?
Relationship's a dream. It's a complete dream. It's not happening, man. It's just like a contracted energy, a sense of here-ness that, yeah, it's just, there is no relationship. And it seemed that there never was. There's already no relationship there. It's not that something's happening here, which is different. Just could be like, you know, I don't know.
With the me, probably once the me, let's say, seemingly stops happening, probably the relations go with it. Is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
like that. Yeah.
There is no one to have relationship. So nowhere in any screens, there is no one to have a relationship.
But Ray, can we say there is appearance of relationships in this?
Sure.
Okay.
But everything is this. So even, you know, person, you know, okay. All right.
Yeah, it's appearing as a relationship mother-daughter relationship, me and husband relationship, but no one's owning anybody and haven't never owned. Before there was maybe idea or thought that I am here separate and my husband is there and we have a relationship and I am owning some kind of him and he me. It is this love, but not unconditional love. There are lots of conditions in every relationships that persons having.
It's need. It's like the person's relationship's like a sense of need.
Yeah, confirmation that I am real, you are real, and we are reflecting. These are my feelings, these are your feelings. You hurted me, back and forth. When there is no one anymore, then no one did anything wrong. No arguments happening, but sometimes even arguing can happen. No one's doing it. It's everything.
Yeah, just unhinged arguing when it does apparently.
Yeah, and it's boundless.
Yeah.
There is no one who is having some emotions or feelings. It's this immediacy of emotion, feeling, and no context, because there is no separation, no boundaries.
Okay, thanks.
Great question. Thank you. All right, Becca, I think you had your hand up next.
Yeah.
Hey, Becca.
Nikki, can I speak to you, please?
Hi, Becca.
Hi. Right. The one thing, do you know, like everything's all one,
Mm,
all at once?
yes.
So this is what's happening right now. If I'm having a thought,
Mm.
are you having a thought at the same time? If you say everything's no, what I'm trying to say is
Yeah.
this is what's happening. This.
Yeah.
Am I having a thought and you're having a thought and other people are having a thought at the, do you know what I'm trying to say? Like at the same time? Or is it just like is it just that thought, your voice, my voice, them pictures, these colours, or is it I'm seeing colours, my thought, this thought, and then you're having a thought and your colour. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, so I think what might make it seem like more confusing than it is, because it's very simple, is that the question that you're asking arises already from an assumption that there's you and me, these separate bodies, and then stuff going on inside of them or whatever. But it's just much more simple than that, in that it's just wholeness appearing as whatever's happening. So
Yes.
yeah.
So yeah, and I can but then I look at you and I think, are you having a thought? But then I'm like, no, that's just the whole thing, me thinking, are you having a thought?
Yeah, well, it's just a thought. It's an empty thought. Yeah, so it doesn't actually have any substance or solidity. It's not located inside of you as a body, and it's not yours. And there isn't a me over here with my body having different thoughts. It's just this appearance.
But is the thoughts that aren't yours, that aren't mine, that are different at the same time, or is it just that one thought at that time? I know there's no time, but
Yeah.
am I completely off
I
track
don't know
with
if
that?
I followed that last question about.
I don't know how to explain it. Like, I'm sitting here thinking things, so their thoughts, that's what is.
Well, you're not
Is-
really
is
sitting
that-
there. That sense that you're just, the sense that there is that you are sitting there, and then there's a separate something that might be happening over there. It's that whole thing is just this idea that there is separation.
So all the ideas and the empty thoughts are just, that's the dream.
All the ideas. So the question is, all the ideas.
So everything that you think is silent. It's not real.
Oh yeah.
So basically, everything that I think I'm thinking isn't real. that's the dream,
It's just an
and
appearance.
all there is this. That's what I'm
Yes.
trying to ask you. Like,
Yes. Yeah. It's empty. It's just empty. Yeah. It's empty. Yeah.
yeah,
It's nothing, which is not a
yes,
thing. Yeah.
it's nothing. Yeah,
Not
nothing. So
yeah.
when people say nothing, that's the nothing, because it's nothing.
It's everything.
It doesn't
Absolutely.
exist.
Yeah. It's
And
everything.
this is everything. This is everything.
I know.
And
Yes.
the nothing.
Yes.
But the nothing is the thing that you think is you. Or am I wrong? Am I not on the right?
Well, then that would be taking some position that I am nothing. Well, this is
No,
nothing.
but the nothing is the dream. No?
Well, it's in a way, you could say it's a dream, but
It's the story,
yeah, I mean, I like the word neither real nor unreal. So it appears real because it feels real. It feels like it's really happening, and yet in a way, it's obvious that it's just this appearance, or it's all empty. It's all happening for no one. It's all.
Yeah, but when people say it's empty and full, can you just is the empty the kind of dream? Because when I say I don't know all the thingy words, but it's like people have their own story in life. That's the empty. There's nothing there, and this is full and no.
Yeah. So they're not two. So the empty and the full are not two. So so it's not that there's this empty thing and then there's this full thing. The appearance is simultaneously empty and full. So it's very colors and sounds and, and yet there's nothing. That's nothing. That's the appearance of nothing. That's how I would describe it. And it's not mystical or magical, or it can appear sometimes in that way, but it's also very, very ordinary. It's just the words that are appearing and the hearing of the words and the screen and the shapes, and the colors and the appearance of a thought and the sensation of the chair.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Thank you.
Thanks, Becca.
And the questions never get answered. The questioner just dies.
Oh, that's good.
I don't know what I'm really saying.
I was just going to say.
There's just words coming out. I don't have any answers. There's no answers. I don't really know what I'm talking about. It's just what seems to be coming out.
This guy in the car doesn't know what he's talking about.
But it's obvious.
You lot have been listening to this a lot longer than me. I don't know the right words to say to explain myself.
There aren't no right words.
There's no wrong words. And there's no right ones. And there's no words at all, honestly.
Yeah, and it seems as long there is the seeking energy, there will be thoughts and questions and trying to understand, but one is collapsing by itself. It can't be. You can't do nothing. There's no you.
Can I ask one more thing? Has anyone ever felt like a few seconds behind what's happening, as though they can see it but not as a person?
It happens.
Like things are happening, and it's like you're not in your body, but you can see it. That's what I mean. I'm not very good with explaining myself, but it's like you're a few seconds after what's going on.
Yeah, it can be a glimpse when there is no one, no sense of I am, no sense of space and time. And then
it's like you're watching. It's just like something's watching, but not you.
But then the me will survive it and will have this experience of having glimpse.
Yeah. Okay.
Everything's a thought too, like an interpretation. You know, when you say like, why is it this one way or the other? Someone else might say, it's not that way for me. And it's just like this set of words, like what's your set of words for what this is? And what, yeah, great question. Did that answer it enough for
Yeah,
you?
I'm happy with that. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
Thank
man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm loving this.
Woohoo. All right. Sri, you have your hand up?
No, I've not put it down.
Oh,
I'll
oops.
do it now.
Okay, there we go. A lot of people have been messaging me wanting to do group chat, and I've been trying to enable it, but I can't figure it out. I think it may be something Emerson would need to do, since he's like the host or something. But feel free to send any of us messages and we can just read them aloud and then try to answer them. Yeah.
Sri had a hand up.
Oh, Sri.
Yeah, I had my hand up, but I don't want to take more time. If nobody else has questions, I can ask my question.
Yeah.
Go
Yeah.
ahead.
The floor is yours.
So there is this notion that, you know, everything is happening, at least seemingly happening by itself, right? You know, so, okay. But, you know, in that happening, there is a lot of, let's say, you know, as an interpretation, man's inhumanity to man, right? A lot of cruelty arises in it. What at least we think cruelty and suffering and war. So the thing is, you know, if there is only one thing, why is it cruel to itself? You know, it's kind of a very naive way of questioning it. But, you know, what arises is not, let's say, you know, there's a lot of suffering in it. So why is that is the question. I'm sure you heard this before. So.
Good question. Holy smokes. Why does suffering happen? That's especially when it seems like it's not fair.
Particularly when it's, you know, human caused, right? Man being, I mean, let's say there is a flood or something, you know, your house going away. Okay.
Yeah, but there is no one doing anything.
That's
what's happening.
It's not human caused.
So me will want that this is blissful and everything is good and no suffering. But this is the suffering, this is the seeking, this is unconditional love arising as this question, as this suffering, as this illusion.
Yeah,
Nothing wrong with anything. Of course, me would like to have that everything is no war, no hunger.
Even, you know, let's say even bigger things like war and hunger. I mean, even some of the things that you read in the news are just so horrible to read. I mean, it's hard. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, man.
So I guess, you know, I wanted to say that, yeah, what arises in this, let's say, is there's light, also there's a lot of darkness, and that's the baffling part of it. So
This is the separation, this positioning happening. As there is somebody bad doing bad things, but there are no bad things and no bad persons or good person. Just what's arising or appearing.
It's like when you don't have eyes, how do you know if it's light or dark? And that maybe isn't a perfect analogy, but there's no knowing even if there's light or dark. There's just like intense energy or maybe less intense. But those are all just appearances that kind of blend tech together, you know, into a big what the fuck. But it's still the same. It's like the same stuff. Talking, the news pops up, 50 billion people died. There's not that many people on Earth. So 50 million people died. Or whatever it is, or just some really sad anything in the story. Yeah.
so
It didn't happen though.
since it's, I mean, I guess there is this notion of it being just an appearance. It's not substantive.
Yeah.
Is that a relief? That's the relief.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Just an appearance.
Zabi said yesterday to me, he's like, this postcard is so beautiful. And he's driving like, this postcard is like, Zabi, get your eyes on the road. It's not a postcard. It is a postcard, but you can crash still. You can crash. Things can apparently happen. Seemingly. Yeah.
Thanks, everyone. That's
Thanks, Sri. Thank you. All right.
I think Becca has her hand up again.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm still getting good at this.
Right, I
Yes.
tried to explain it to Zabby once, right? And I don't know whether it's a good way of explaining it, but I feel like it's a puff of smoke with no smoke. Like it's just all nothingness,
Woo,
and it's gone.
yes. It's a
Or is
puff of
that
smoke without any
with
smoke.
no smoke?
Smoke and mirrors. Not really. Yeah,
I just thought I'd say that.
that's good. That makes me want to smoke. Cheers.
Smoke.
You're
No, but you know what I mean? It's just
gone. Like a puff of smoke.
with no smoke.
Yeah, the smoke only lasts like a second, and then it's just gone. Where did it go? Nikki, I don't know if you were trying to say something. You're on mute.
No, I just said it's lovely poetry because that's all we're like, all these words are all empty and it's blah, 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 blah. Really, they don't mean anything. So when you're in a way trying to point to nothing being everything, then if you want to use beautiful poetry like that, I mean, it's just, yeah, it's all words that are silent, that are just.
It's like nothing.
Yeah, I hear your sister. I think it's great poetry. Yeah.
Well, I'm no good at poetry. I didn't mean it.
Oh, who's this we're talking to now?
That's just, I'm no good at poetry. That's just my way of trying to explain how I feel.
Yeah. So poetry.
Yeah, might be good at poetry now. I might take that up now.
That was very poetic.
Jane have a hand up.
Oh, okay, thank you. Hey, Jane.
Hi,
Hello.
everyone. Thanks
Hello,
for all the
hello.
speakers. It's great that you guys all at the one Zoom meeting for us. Thank you very much. I'd like to know, since you guys all have the same journey as we are having now, why you think we still have the hindrance?
There is no journey.
There's no journey.
There is
We're
no
not having the same journey because there's no journey.
So that means mentally we are still have a lot of subtle.
I wish there was an answer that easy. Just bam.
This is not.
Oh yeah, this. Here's the. It's yeah, Zabi. Yeah.
This is not going anywhere. It's not moving anywhere. When it apparently ends, it seemed that it never was. It never happened. There was never a journey, and this doesn't make sense. Yeah, it's not moving.
But it
There is
seems
no
like a journey, huh? It seems like one.
Yeah, when I say the journey, so that means I'm still in the dual concept. So now you guys pointed out that's very helpful. So is that means I'm still having a lot of such misconcepts? That's part of the reason I haven't got it yet.
You'll never get it.
I don't know.
I don't get it. No one can get this. It's an apparent end to something. It's a loss, if you want to say.
Man.
This is really like not what you're looking for.
So that means I'm seeking too much.
You're not doing
No.
just what's happening, and you can't stop this happening. You didn't start the seeking, so you can't end the seeking. And this is nowhere else, or there is no distance. There is no space and time for that. You have this distance to arrive somewhere in the future. Somewhere in the future, there is this enlightenment, this thing called enlightenment. There is no enlightenment. This is already enlightenment. There is no one already. So when this collapses, then it's seen that there never was Jane who was seeking so desperately, trying to get answers, trying to get rid of concepts, maybe too many concepts, I have to get rid of them. No one's doing it. And no one ever did anything. There is simply no time. Time collapses. It is this, it's timelessly, it's this stillness seemingly moving. So there is seemingly or apparently this feeling of journey, that I am some kind of journey and I'm going somewhere, or something is coming closer. This is saying that this is already it. There is nothing separate, nowhere to go, nothing to get. This is already liberation for no one. Of course, me is looking that liberation, that something, what they have heard in the story, that enlightenment is something good. Then you don't never feel angry or something. This is a story. This is this beautiful hope, lots of full of hopes story that people are seeking. But there isn't anything like that. It's a story. It is already this liberation. Arising as Jane seeking this, or as having these questions. No one's doing it. No one's.
And when you say that, that not moving, not the stillness, so it's like, is it like a fact, some kind of function, right? So it's
I don't know
kind
that.
of like a quantity, constant quantity there.
Well,
not
yeah,
changed
you
by the appearance.
Yeah, you still try to understand this. You still
Right,
try
right.
to put it to some kind of context that you know that
Right.
how stillness should be, or yeah, but it can't be known. It's not separate.
Oh man, I have a fairy tale to share with you if you'd like to hear it.
Sure.
I had to turn my camera off temporarily. Oh, I may be able to. Yeah, am I going to turn the camera off? All right. Fairy tale time. Good. All right. So there was a man named Jordan who got lost looking for his home, and he got lost in this really massive desert. And he basically was all alone, right? And he's trying to figure out essentially when he was going to die. Like he was trying to, like, how long can I survive until I can find water? And so he essentially started just kind of, he couldn't think anymore. So he's like, crap, I'm gonna die. I'm just gonna die. I can't think anymore. I don't know what time. Everything's like kind of blurry. And then he sees water finally. And it's a little oasis or whatever. And oases are real. So it's not always a mirage, And so he just starts going towards this water, and it gets more and more vivid, and closer he gets to it, it gets more vivid, and you start seeing the leaves, and you start seeing the water and the sunshine reflecting off the water. And so when he gets there, it's gone. And then it's just like, I'm gonna die. But then he looks down and realizes he's already dead. His body's back there like 10 feet, and it's his ghost. No, I couldn't find a good conclusion to the story on the fly, but essentially the guy who's starving to death isn't there either. And so the oasis is everywhere. Water's never needed, but if water's there, they can be drunken. But when everything's a dream, it's including concepts, then all the words I just said don't make any sense. Even if they feel like they make sense, they really don't. Yeah, yeah. That was kind of long, sorry. I feel like telling a story.
That was amazing poetry,
yeah.
Casey. Amazing poetry.
It's just like, fuck, it's like you don't need the oasis. You actually don't need water. You're not thirsty, you're not asleep, you're not awake, you're not here. You already have it and it's already done. It's just a thought that pops up automatically that's like, I don't have it yet.
Yeah, it's a good story.
It's a good
Yeah, that was beautiful.
Mwah.
Mm.
Next to your question. And yeah, any other questions, or is that, are you good with that? I just want to open it up if someone else. Okay, no, keep going. There's no one else.
No,
I think
I'm done. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for all the speakers. Really
Thank
helpful.
you. Thank you. Becca, you have your hand up. Oh, do you want me to spotlight you?
Sorry. No, sorry. I keep forgetting to put it down.
It's okay.
I'll do it now.
All right, we have Kelsey here as well. Kelsey, I hope you don't mind me pinning you to the panel. You're volunteered as a panel member. What?
Hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's like this microphone's not good.
I can hear you really well, Kelsey. And that picture behind you looks like you. Like the shape of it is like, oh, it's beautiful. It's there's a deity there. Kelsey.
Yeah.
Oh.
Intentional.
It must, yeah. Must be the skincare.
Yeah, I could tell a story maybe. So like,
sure.
See, that's how it works. You have to like think of the story. Because it's yeah, it's a story. Yeah, like anytime like a sensation of like contention comes up in the illusion. It's so funny because like I'll ask myself like who is the person that is relating to this, and it's always a story. Like, so when you really try to find like where the person is, you can't find it without a story. So it's an interesting way to kind of like look at things if you can, because you can't even really look at anything without a story. So it's kind of funny. Like that's where a lot of laughter comes from sometimes. Because like if I make a mistake at work, it's like, who is this person that is like upset about this? And it would be like the person who like wants to do a good job. It's like always this story. And when the story disappears, there's like no one relating to it. So there's no one there without a story. Yeah.
Yeah, me is the story and the storyteller.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah, so interesting.
Stories on stories.
all it
Stories of
is.
stories on stories.
Yeah, and who can find it? Who can find this me? I find me. There's no one.
The storyteller can.
Me wants to find me, wants to find me, just goes in a circle.
Me wants to find me, wants to find me, wants to find me. Hit it. Me wants to find me, wants to. Dude, Tavi.
Yeah.
Wah, wah. Me wants to find me.
I was
wants
just
to find
flowing
me.
with it. I
Is
was
that a
flowing
new
with it. What
tune?
happened?
I just want to say, Emmy, you've got the most beautiful smile ever. She's always smiling, isn't she? All the
Aw,
time.
This is what
yes.
enlightenment looks like. I'm sleeping also like this.
Go away.
No, no, no.
You're making me jealous. No, but she's always smiling her face off, isn't she? Like, you make me smile anyway.
And no one's smiling, and no one's crying, and no one's even isn't angry when this is happening.
Well, your appearance makes me smile.
Oh, that's.
Aw.
Mm.
People has a hand up.
Oh, thank you. Nikki.
Yeah. Well, again, it's like this, the word dream that I was talking about earlier. And often I used to hear these words, free will and choice. And now in the light of this discussion, I would probably say that there is no free will and choice is also perhaps an example, because otherwise it gives another connotation that there is someone who has a free will and choice. I wonder if you get my point. To say that, that there is no free will and choice, I mean, you can qualify to say that only as an example, isn't it? Otherwise, it brings out the person again.
But who could have?
conversation.
But who could have free will or choice?
Yeah, that was my point. But I mean, I raised this question because I often hear these words by non-dual speakers.
So can you say the question again? That was a great question.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, you see, now some of these non-dual speakers use this word. They give this as a point that there is no free will and choice. A person has no free will and choice. What is happening?
No person.
Right. So now I'm citing that example, and then I'm asking you that
yes.
Even to say that there is no free will and choice is again, you are back to the same square one. Okay.
It's the game that never ends. Exactly, man. Exactly. It's so funny because it hides, like it hides, and then it pops out again, and it's like, oh, who's asking that question? There's no free will and choice, but who said that? It kind of goes hand in hand. I'm not even sure how, but free will and choice, and there being someone there. I mean, either one of those fall, they both fall. It all falls with the words and the ownership. There's no free will and choice, and there's no free will and choice.
Yeah, it's a better way of saying.
Yeah. Good question. Thank you.
You could just say it appears like free choice. It appears like it, and just leave it at that. Rather than, just it appears like it, and that's what it appears as, and not try to. It's almost like, but I think very often in a lot of the things that we try to then say, well, it must mean this, we get back into logic and rational kind of thinking, but it just appears. That's the way it's appearing, and leave it at that.
Yeah, there's no experience of having no free will and choice. There's not like an experience of that. That's what like the me would think. There's just knowing.
Yeah. You know, I was also thinking too about a dream, you know, the dream, but I often wonder if even that is too many words to even try and say dream or not a dream. It's just, in a sense, I think there's still, I don't know, sort of a tendency to try to even the metaphors that are useful in the conversation, but they're just more stories.
Everything is a story.
Yeah.
There's no escape from that. Every word is a story what's coming out.
Yeah, I think one of the things I noticed in one of the things that Emerson was doing is that if everything we just stay with this, it's simplicity, and then it's almost like the so-called need that appears to describe it as a dream or this or that. The simplicity is right in front of you, but we tend to move away from it.
Yeah, that's like the me's whole like mechanism. It's like, what's next?
Yeah,
what's next? Like, this is not it. What's next? Always, just always. Like
it's almost like there's at times a grasping. It's almost like what Becca was saying before, in a sense, there's experiencing, but then sort of the me or whatever that, again, a sort of illusionary me, it tries to grasp it and know it and explain it. And because that grasping, if I just know it, that makes the I. That reinforces the sense of an I.
Yeah, it wants to reach a point where like, I got it. Now I got it, and it's good. That never happens. That never happens.
Got it. Get it. Good. Thank you.
Yes, the I is the knower. So
Great. Yeah.
It wants to find an end of knowing through knowing.
Yeah. Absolutely. And dude, let me tell you, like OCD feels exactly like that. Just 24/7, like trying to know that, so you know, but you can't ever really know. So it's this loop. Keeps going.
It's this need to know. It's just like, yeah, that's what the me
energy
basically is.
It's an energy or something.
It's the need to know, the grasping, but it's not real. It's not an entity. There's nothing in here. There's literally nothing in here. It's empty. And I don't know that. That's not a knowing, by the way. It's not like I'm here like, oh, I know that there's nothing in here. There's no one walking around. There's no one here. It's not like that. It just can't be described. It's just so simple. It's so simple. There's no need to know. Like, in a way, I kind of feel like this like a permission slip. Just like, nothing needs to be known. There's already no knowing. Knowing is the dream.
as the knower. Knower is illusion too. But me wants proof to know that this is really it. Prove me. There must be something else. This can't be it. But this
I need evidence.
This can't be it. Show me. Yeah.
In a story, it's everything good and bad, but even this is wrong to say, because there is no good and bad, no positions, no one separate to say anything or to know anything. no one ever got this. I didn't got this. I didn't understand this. I don't know what this is. I don't know. There is no separation, no boundaries.
So even in couple of times you mentioned me try to do this and that. Actually, there's no me. It's just this energy is that expressing, but there's no other way to
It's a conversation, how to speak.
Yeah.
How to speak, yes.
And there is no attachment or any solidity or feeling that me is something real, special, separate.
Right.
That it happened with me. When it happened in a story, it was seen that there was never me who can fall away or wake up or get liberated.
Yeah, so it's very
Liberation,
hard
no.
to say something not in a non-dual way, actually. Right?
Yes.
So you have to be in a dual way in order.
Yes.
There is no have to be or not have to be. It's just what's happening.
Unless you shut up, not talking. I feel it's really hard.
It makes you want to just stop talking sometimes.
Yeah. That's maybe your speakers already don't have much thought left, right? Or only have functional thought. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
No,
less
sure.
commentary happening because there is no feeling that is happening for real. Stories can come up, thoughts can come up, but they are like clouds coming and going, coming and going. Like Emerson said, or I don't know who said that, it's like empty house. Door is open, window is open, no one holding anything. It's empty house, no one's home.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
But you also can't just say that it's only one way. You can't say that it's a lot less thoughts, because then that paints an image of how it would be, and then that paints this waiting for there to be not many thoughts. And so, and who really knows? Maybe some characters tend to have, who knows really? So lots of thoughts, not
Nobody
a lot
knows.
of thoughts, doesn't matter.
It's fun to talk about, though, anyways. Or not. Sometimes it's not fun.
It's everything. All thoughts are this. All thoughts that are arising there, apparently, with change is this. Nothing wrong.
Hey, everyone. Nothing's going to change, basically, but I think the time is up. Is that right? I'm just trying to figure out if I should.
20 minutes, right?
20 more minutes left?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we still have 20 more minutes. Cool. And then after that, we'll just do a breakout room and keep talking for as long as anybody wants. I think we'll just stop the recording. So.
When that sense of me asks, so there's probably not a lot of thoughts. It's like, am I going to put it? It's like, oh, so I have to get in a place of no thoughts or less thoughts, then I'll be there. Actually, Nikki, I think that's what you just said too, but yeah. Anything can arise.
Who cares if there's thoughts? Who cares if there's a me? Like, who gives a shit, really? Like, I don't like, who fucking cares? Thoughts come. That's it.
I don't see anyone here.
Who cares if you see people here? Who cares if there's people? Who cares if there's not? Like, who is the one who cares?
And there is no non-duality. Non-duality is just the word. That sense would try to even hang on to that as something it can know, something it's now a part of. Oh, non-duality. It's just the word.
Can I ask a question before we finish?
You got plenty.
Right,
Plenty of time. Yeah.
So I'm diagnosed as ADHD, autistic.
I'll be right back. By the way, keep going.
So is that not real?
Like psychology is like clinical psychology has nothing to do with non-duality. Like it's just what's appearing. So to think that like,
Yeah, but if it's something that's appearing, why does it keep fucking appearing every day?
it's just a way of describing something.
Why won't it
It's
just
appearing.
go away?
Well, everybody's gonna have like, their flavors of what happens in the experience. Everyone's gonna have something happen to them that possibly could be described in a clinical setting. So I wouldn't say it's real or unreal. It's just a way of describing something. But who is the one looking at the ADHD? Like, who is the one looking at this?
So it's just ADHD. Like, not you've got ADHD, it's just ADHD.
Yeah, the relating to is usually like
a tree's
personally.
a tree's a tree, ADHD's ADHD. It's not you have ADHD.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I was going to ask you if someone could explain relationships in
What
the
do you mean?
sense of, I don't know, I'm getting a bit really confused with like relationships in the sense of, I don't know, like, do you have any choice? Well, no, you don't have any choice, do you?
But nothing will change, Becca.
I just want it. It's just relationships and love that.
You ever
Has
dream
anyone
about
got anything to
the
say anything
perfect
about
partner? You ever dream about the man, woman, or dog of your dreams? And it's just like
Dog?
when you wake up, whatever,
that?
and you wake up and
Right,
it's
our
just like
pet dog.
this like, no, it wasn't real. No, damn it. And then you try to go back to sleep and see if you can like inject back in.
Yeah, but I've got 3 babies and I'm scared of like, I don't know.
That's
Nikki
natural.
knows what I'm talking about.
You already don't have any relationships.
No, I know, but that's the only thing that scares
So nothing changes.
It's scary, man. It's
Me
valid.
will want something to change. I don't know, something to change better for me, but nothing will change.
Yeah. I just didn't want to feel any different towards my children or.
But I also apparently have a daughter, and no one ever raised her. In a story, it felt like I am raising her, I am teaching her, blah, 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 but no one did it. So illusion means it's not real. There was never anyone separate doing anything, choosing anything. So nothing will change. It will.
I think it's because I've heard people say you won't gain anything, you'll lose something. That's what scared me.
Yeah.
It's
scary.
Yeah,
It's not.
But there is.
And I'm like, I don't want to lose.
No, in the end,
my kids.
And the apparent end, it's not even a
have.
loss. It's not even a loss.
No, but I've heard so many people say it's a loss, not a gain. I'm like,
It's
I
a
need to
loss,
stop
not a
watching
gain.
this.
Yet
I'm
nothing happens though. You already have lost your kids. But are your kids home? I mean, you can see them. And so then the concepts come in like, oh, there's my kids or whatever. But you've never had kids really though.
No, I was scared of like.
So they're already
starting
gone.
to not care about anything, and I'm like, I need to care about my kids.
That's freedom, man. Yeah. But you know what? It's always been taken care of up until now, maybe or maybe not. and it's still been the same, even if you thought
Alright
you were
then.
doing it or not, you know?
That's fine then.
Yeah. So, you know,
Gotta love my babies.
yeah, just love your babies. You can't go wrong. Or right. You can't get it right.
There
You know-
can be apparent loss, but not really, because there wasn't never anyone. But in a story, when it's described that it's not gaining, I don't know, I lost all my stories, so to speak, but no one lost these stories. But yeah.
You didn't lose your love for your daughter? I don't.
Then
Oh.
it was just gone. It never existed anyway.
I feel like slamming my laptop shut. Like,
I feel you. It's frustrating, man.
it's
It's
like I have
maddening
to listen. I have
sometimes.
to listen to this, but then I'm like, I want to slap it shut and be like, I'm not going to speak to anyone ever again.
Slap that laptop right upside there. Close it.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I'll be back on in a minute. Please let me in.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, please let me in.
Okay,
I'm
let me
sorry.
back in. Sometimes, man, like here, it's all story, right? But when the me energy arises or thoughts, and it's like me, whatever, it's just like adorable sometimes. Before it'd be like, why am I thinking this? There's no one here. Why are you thinking this? But it's innocent. There's nothing wrong with thinking there's someone
Oh,
here.
I know, but the amount of times I'm like, I am not listening to this anymore. I've done it. I've had enough. And then I'm here, start talking again.
Yeah.
You can't do nothing.
No, I know.
I stopped making promises
I'm not
in
doing
general.
it
Just in
anymore.
general, I can't do that. I can't
I've been
promise
sat
anything.
listening. I've been sat listening to fucking what's his name? The main man. What's his
Tony
name?
Parsons.
Yeah, all day. All day while I'm cleaning, doing everything. I'm sick of hearing his voice, but I can't stop listening to him. And it's like, oh,
Do you feel that you are doing it, or it's happening by itself?
no, no, he's just doing it. I don't want to listen to him. It's just happening.
Exactly.
Yeah, but it's frustrating.
This is it too. Frustration.
My battery's going dead within like 2 hours because I'm constantly listening to people on my phone while I'm cleaning up and doing things. But I don't want to do that.
Yeah, there is no free will and choice.
No, I've known that for a long time. Well, not I've known that, but I know.
Yeah, there can be intellectual knowing.
Yeah. My body and brain just does what it wants to do, no matter what I think.
And it's not my body.
Well, you know what I mean.
Show me
Yeah.
your brain.
It just goes off, and
Yeah, it just goes off. It's
Zabby, I ain't got a brain. It don't work.
Do you have a brain, Zabi? Or are you a zombie?
Zabby's
Zabby
not
the
got a
zombie.
brain. Zabby's mashed his brain up.
That's actually one way to see this. You just mash your brain up in Egypt.
He's
They knew
mashed his
this.
brain up that much that he doesn't
You
even
can go
know
in
where
through the
he
nose
is
and
anymore.
just lobotomy.
That's the actual plan. You mash your brain up that much, you don't even know what's going on anymore.
The lobotomy glimpse.
Yeah. Fuck you. You just fuck yourself up, kill all your brain cells, and then this is what's going on.
Oh, I mean, it's a story, but glimpses can seem to happen in all kinds of ways, man.
You know, glimpse, it's called being knocked out.
Yeah.
I'll shut up, man.
Nick, was there a meeting that another speaker had coming up? I wanted to get clarity on that.
Oh, no. I was just mentioning. I don't know if they want to speak or don't. So.
Okay, I see. Yeah, anyone can speak at this point. I mean, we can just have this be the breakout room now. And I
Anyone
think
can
the
speak
recording
but
actually
me.
stopped already. Yeah, recording stopped when my connection dropped like 10 minutes ago. So we are now in the afterlife. Thank you, everybody, for coming to
Hey,
Emerson's thing.
Hey, Casey,
Yeah.
it says that the recording is still happening.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
On my screen, it's different. Let me see.
Just so you know, I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, can you, are you
Me?
a co-host? Yeah.
Let's see.
I lost my host privileges when my disconnection happened. So I can't stop it from recording. I can't stop it from recording.